Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. He's back. Glenn Ickler, our famous whodunit, our resident author whodunit, is back. Welcome back, Glenn.
It's been a long time, but here I am.
We were just talking about it. That Glenn, I think, was on just before we closed in March 2020 for good old COVID. And we haven't seen each other since then.
No.
And you better believe he's been a busy boy.
Yeah.
He's got a new one out, Yellow Rock. Did you do the cover?
No, they had a stock photo for that cover. It's funny, people in our club look at that and say, geez, I almost recognize somebody there.
Yeah. The cover, if you can't see it from there, Glenn is a big enthusiastic person of square dancing. He does it. And this is man and woman square dancing and people in the background. And the mystery is a usual Alan Mitch mystery. And we'll let him tell you more about it. But this is one that he hasn't written before about and you're a pro at this square dancing. So you know exactly how to segue into this.
Oh, I've been square dancing longer than I've been writing mysteries.
Well, that's why he's so nice and trim. You put the rest of everybody to shame.
Yeah.
How many people are in your square dancing group?
Well, there's about between 30 and 40 who are basically active. It's gone down.
It's gone down
Quite a bit since. Oh, we got into it in 1985.
Wow.
And there were like 80, 90 people in the club at that point. But the whole movement, and of course COVID has really hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't dance at all for almost 2 years.
So you couldn't do virtual dancing?
We could, actually.
You're serious?
I'm not kidding. There were callers who called virtually. I know the woman I dance with now lives in Worcester, which is 30 miles from where I live, so I didn't have any partners.
That's so cool. I've been in Worcester a lot. Glenn, it's not that far. Oh, 20 minutes, 25 minutes?
Yeah, but...
yeah, I suppose if it's nighttime, it's not fun.
Not that good. Plus, she actually had COVID.
She did
at one time. Yeah, she caught it.
Do you have to wear when square dancing? I see the gentleman with the, what do they call that little tie they wear? What is that called, the necktie?
That's a bolo.
A bolo.
Yes.
And he's got that on. He's all in black. Do the girls have to wear flaring skirts?
They don't have to.
Yeah.
Some do. Some wear what they call prairie skirts, which is just a long ankle-length skirt.
Sort of like
long
the,
and narrow.
I'm trying to think of long, how do they dance in something that long, though?
Well, it's fairly loose. It's not tight. It's not like a flapper skirt.
I remember when I was growing up, the thing was called the granny dress, and my best friend's mother taught me how to sew. And granny dress, the hippie dresses and all, we could sew them and make them ourselves. They were kind of like chemise. They kind of just went set down, and they had an empire waist. And I don't think I could have danced in it, though. It was a little too slim going down. But we couldn't wear them to school. I guess, I don't know why, but nobody tried to. Now, Glenn is going to share what the book is all about. Go ahead, Glenn.
Well, my two basic characters, of course, are Mitch Mitchell, who is a newspaper reporter, and his friend, Ellen Jeffrey, who is the photographer. And Mitch's wife decides that they should start square dancing because they don't have much of a circle of friends, they don't have much of activities, and they're both gaining a little weight. And so off they go and they join a square dance class. And they are, after a couple of weeks in class, they are invited to attend a regular Saturday night dance of the club and just see how the big kids do it, you know?
Yeah.
And everything's going fine. They have this wonderful national caller who comes in from California. He's originally from Minnesota, but he's moved to California. He's known all over the country. He comes in, he calls the first half the dance, goes out for a cigarette at the intermission, and they find his body laying outside the door.
Gone.
Well, everybody figures probably a heart attack. He was a chain smoker. So,
There you go.
know,
Yeah.
But when they do the autopsy is required because it's an unattended death. They do the autopsy and discover that he's full of fentanyl.
Yep.
And there's a little hole in his neck. And which is a kind of unusual place to inject fentanyl. And so they decide that it's homicide. And so off we go to find out
now,
who
Mitch
killed the caller.
Al, let's see, Mitch is the journalist and Al is the photographer, or is it the other way around? I always get it.
Mitch is the reporter and Al's the photographer, that's right.
They got a pretty open-minded editor.
Yes.
Basically, what else he lets them go
He's
through.
pretty much modeled on an editor that I had at the St. Paul paper.
I'll bet you a lot of the people in your square dance club, they have to have copies. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the book is dedicated to two of my favorite callers.
Yep.
And
Let's read it.
Yeah.
Dedication to a duo of superb square dance callers, Bruce McHugh and Jack O'Leary, who have provided me with countless hours of pleasure over many years of dancing.
And guess what? The caller teacher in the book is named
Yeah.
Jack Bruce.
Did you take... See, so it's been over 2 years since you were here. Did it take you 2 years to write this, or you were just waiting in the wings?
No, that's I've got. You must have missed one. There's one. I've had one every year.
What was before this?
Let's see. In between was Lanterns of Death.
Yes.
That was the last one before this.
Okay, so we must have had you on before March 2020.
Yeah, we must. Yeah.
You must have been on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't miss that. I was going to say, well, I missed one of Glenn's books. No.
Yeah.
Glenn, while we're talking, how can they get a hold of your book?
Well, they can go to Amazon.com and put my name in, and they get every book that I've written will pop up there. They can go on my website, which is glenickler.net. They can go to the publisher, which is outskirts.com.
Yep.
They can get it on Nook. Everywhere you look.
Yep. There you go. Now, there's going to be a copy downstairs as usual, right?
There will be a copy in the library.
Downstairs in the Upton Library.
And there's a copy in the Hopedale Library.
Oh, of course. I like that library too.
Yeah.
I like that doggone rocker chair in the back where the big clock is.
Yeah.
Are they ever going to fix that? Someone's going to take a real dive off that.
I don't know.
I'm serious.
I don't know. I've never sat in it.
Don't.
I won't.
Do it. Because I find it cozy, and the only time it's tough is when some people won't budge. Rarely is there somebody over there, right, in that corner looking. But you got to have room.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I'm not about to ask somebody to move. You should know it on your own, But they got a nice staff.
Yeah.
Very nice. The end of this book, Mitch, he finally looks the caller's killer squarely in the eye. Mitch finds himself searching for a way to promenade into safety of his partner's yellow rocking arms. Yeah. Now, but both Mitch and Al are married, so that is his wife, right? Mitch's wife, into his partner's arms, promenade?
Yes. That's right.
Oh my gosh. So you've been back to Minnesota once not long ago?
It was in May.
You were
Yes.
up in Maine. What were
Yeah.
you doing up there? What were you doing up in Maine?
In May? No.
In
May.
I thought you said Maine. May
The
you
month
went to
of May.
Minnesota.
The merry, merry month of May. I was in
Yep.
merry, merry Minnesota
Merry,
for a
merry.
week.
How was it on the plane? Were there any fights?
Oh, I drove out.
You drove? Smart move. Really smart, because you're not going to be enclosed with other people, and a lot of them are going ballistic now just because they don't want to wear a mask.
Well, I did fly to Hawaii in
Yeah.
November.
Yeah.
And that was miserable with a mask on for 12 hours.
12 hours? The only way you can escape that is go to the job.
Yeah, it was nonstop from Boston to Honolulu.
I suppose the only way to get away from that is go in the John on the plane. If you, if you take it off there and go.
Yeah, catch a breath of air.
My mother was afraid. She and Dad would travel to Europe and all, but she was afraid to get up and walk to the John in the plane. She thought she might rock it. Like, Mom, really, it's solid. It's not going to make that big a difference. I've never flown, never will. Period. It just does not interest me. But my father used to tell me, oh, you're going to get in more accidents on the... No, that's not true. I mean, you might get in more accidents here, but what is the survival rate if you head into the Indian Ocean? It ain't.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I get into a crash here, at least I know, okay, there's going to be an ambulance that can get me on terra firma and get me to the... If you fall out of the sky, what do you think? Not good.
Odds aren't good,
Not
no.
good at all. No, so I'm not getting... Was it... not Tony Bennett. Oh, Frank Sinatra's... Oh, God. Oh, he used to be with Jerry Williams. What was his name? Dean Martin.
Oh.
He would not fly. He called it what I call it, a flying coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? John Madden wouldn't fly. Yeah.
No.
Well, I logged 2,054 hours in the Air and the Navy.
Yeah.
All of it over the Pacific Ocean.
We're talking again with Glenn Ickler, and he has written his latest book, latest who done it, with Mitch and Al, Yellow Rock. And it looks tame on the cover, but you know, they're square dancing. Wait to get into it. There's a mystery to be resolved. Do you know the end of it before you start of
Yes.
the books? You do know the end.
Huh? Yeah,
You know the end.
I do know the end.
That's it, because so many authors I talk with...
Sometimes
don't-
I have to search for a motive, but I know who's going to get killed and who's going to do it.
I don't know, some authors sit down and they say to me, well, I just go off the seat of my pants. I don't know what the ending's going to be.
Well,
I don't think I could do
I'm
that.
sort of that way. I have a framework in mind, but I'm not an outline person. I can't stand to do outlines and things. But last night, I'm working on this year's book. Last night, I actually dreamt something that I can use in the book.
Can you tell us?
I'm not kidding you.
Can you tell
I
us?
dreamt up a character that I'm putting in the book, and it solves a big problem for me on how the body is found.
Who can you tell us the name of the character?
The name.
Well, the person?
The name is Magnetic Tim.
Magnetic Tim?
Yes.
What have you been smoking? What the hell, Magnetic
He's
Tim?
the janitor, and he's called Magnetic
Why?
Tim because trash comes to him.
Glenn's been a little busy with the bog.
And it solves a problem for me. And how are they going to find this guy's body? Well, Magnetic Tim, of course.
Does he wear something that's magnetic?
No, it's just he's the kind of person that, you know, if he's walking down the sidewalk and there's a piece of paper blowing around, it'll stick to his shoe.
How cool! You had a dream about a character you're going to use in the next book. Do you know what the next book's going to be about?
I'm just glad I remembered it when I woke up. You know, you don't always remember a dream, but that one really.
Can you let us know what the next book is going to be about?
The next book is one you've been nagging me
Oh,
about.
it's going to be about Hopedale?
It's going to be in Hopedale. Yes.
I won!
A professor from the University of Minnesota comes to Hopedale to study Aidan Ballou because he's doing a book on charismatic religions,
Yeah.
and he disappears.
This ought to be really interesting.
The question is, why?
The question is when? When is this coming out? What are you going to
Well,
do?
I'm only on chapter 4.
Oh, okay.
It'll be out in time for Christmas.
Oh, I was going to give you another month, but okay. We were talking with Glenn Ickler, and he is our resident go-get-em type of author. He's a whodunit, all these good books, and I think you've been with us for... when we started down the street temporarily in the fire police huge building, you started there with us. And then when we moved here in 2015, every single year. Every year. So when you give it, I've seen you over at Hopedale Library. One of the times, I think was it when I met you?
Yeah.
You were sitting there with already all these books at the table. And you were selling. And I think I got a hold of you there. I said, would you like to be on the show? And ever since. Can you fit all of your books on one table now?
Well, there's 17 of them. The first ones were a smaller format.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I haven't tried lately.
God, you a prolific writer, absolutely prolific. Now,
That's all right. I look at these authors who've got 30 books out, and I feel like, really, I haven't even got started yet.
Yeah.
But anyway.
he has got quite a history. You had a long career in newspapers as a reporter, a feature writer, a theater critic, columnist and editor in Minnesota and Massachusetts. He was the leader of an editorial page staff that was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize and has won numerous awards for his writing. A native of Minnesota, he now resides in the tiny town, of Hopedale, Massachusetts, somewhere west of Boston, and spends the summer months in a tiny cottage on the tiny island of Martha's Vineyard. And you've had three books that centered around Martha's Vineyard, or more?
Actually, 4.
Four. Okay, The Lanterns of Death, I remember that one. That's the most recent one, right?
Yes.
Boy.
And before that was Arsenic and Old Men.
Yep.
And there was one, I just sold a copy last night. I can't remember the title.
That's okay. I walk into a room, I don't know how many times, even for years, I'll walk into a room like, why am I here?
Oh, Camping on Deadly Grounds was...
Also, Glenn clued us in.
And A Deadly Vineyard. That's
Deadly
the other
Vineyard.
one, A Deadly Vineyard.
You clued, I wasn't sure this was real, but he clued us in, yes it is. There is a naked beach there. You are serious. There is, on Martha's Vineyard, a nude beach. Right?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
The thing is, the funniest thing was, which
There are
book-
actually 2 of them.
Which book was it that you started off with Mitch and Al meeting this lawyer, and the lawyer had no clothes on? That was funny, right in the beginning.
Yeah, that was
one
the
was
first
that?
scene of...
Which was
I
that?
think that was Arsenic and Old Men.
Okay.
Yeah.
These poor guys, Mitch and Al, and the women came with them, their wives, and they're like, we're out of here. This is not cool. And you've been there, right? You checked it out to make sure it was real. Oh my God, I wonder how many people do that. Is it crowded?
I don't know. It wasn't when I was there.
But it was enough, right?
Actually, I've been on the other one.
Why?
And seen a couple of sites.
Oh my God, my grandparents had a...
Most people aren't that attractive.
My grandparents had a family cottage in Dennisport. And my grandpa, he must have been in his 70s by then, 80s. And he used to sit there, and he used to kid about the sights he would see going down to the beach.
Yeah.
You know, like call Greenpeace. I mean, some people were pretty
Well, they
big.
shouldn't make swimsuits after a certain size.
Some people are out there, I've noticed the girls especially, are out there in a bikini, and let's put it this way, it's not flattering. Not at all.
Yeah.
No. So you didn't want to join them, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, darn. Did your wife know about it? Did she know about those beaches?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, she probably thought, oh God, I'm not going there.
I think we walked on both of them, but
And you took for your first COVID shot, you said you took the ferry over to, was it Martha's Vineyard for it?
yes.
Why did you go so far?
It was the only thing I could find open that would give me an appointment. You
Really?
remember the governor had this whole program out. He went online and he looked for an appointment.
Yeah.
Well, everything I looked was full, or they didn't respond. And finally, I said, "Well, I'll try by the Vineyard Hospital." And right away, I got an appointment.
So there is a hospital on the Vineyard.
Huh? Oh yeah, you need one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of accidents there in the summertime. People
they-
riding
Do they bring
bicycles.
them in from Nantucket? Do they come in from Nantucket to go there? I mean, Nantucket doesn't have a hospital, right?
Yeah, they could either go to there or they could go on to the Cape. There's a
Cape Cod
hospital in Hyannis.
Yeah, I went there long ago when I lived with my parents, and my grandfather ended up there. So I know where it is. Talking with Glenn Ickler. And Glenn's book is Yellow Rock, a Mitch and Al mystery. How can they get it? How can they get it? How can
They get it from Amazon.com. They get it from GlennIckler.net. Get it on Nook.
Now, the next book coming out, you say I've been nagging you to get it, but I always got a chuckle out of it. You always write these fantastic books, but they're not from right here in New England, except for Martha's Vineyard. And I said, what about Hopedale?
Yeah.
It's in Hopedale. And it's a cute town.
But it's hard to get journalists from Minnesota to have a reason to come to Hopedale. That was the problem I had all these years. And then finally I found a character who made that possible.
That one you dreamt about. The one you dreamt about?
No, the one who disappeared came here and disappeared.
Okay. What it's a main story. It's going to be about a real person who lived in.
It's about a history professor who is studying Aidan Ballou,
Yeah.
the minister who founded Hopedale, because the professor is doing a book on
Yeah.
religions.
Religions.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. Are you going to be appearing at the Hopedale Library anytime soon?
I hope to get scheduled.
Well, yeah, they have that room downstairs.
Yeah.
Remember the time you were there with 2 other authors?
Yeah, once I get that book done, I'll definitely
Yeah.
be on the...
I remember the time when Glenn, we went down there to see the show. It's the bottom level of the Hopedale Library. They have a nice little room and presentations, authors. So you were sitting there with 2 other authors, and you were the first one up to speak, I think.
I think so.
And he comes up, he goes, "My name's Glenn Ickler, and I kill people." He is. He's a whodunit writer, and you just got everyone's
It
attention.
caught their attention.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you were the star of the show. There was no doubt about it. That was so cool. Do you get nervous at all when you give presentations? Do you get nervous?
Yeah.
A little? You don't seem it.
Obviously. I mean,
It just floats right through.
yeah.
God. Yellow Rock. Now, the people in your, or actually any, of the square dancing groups, do they know about this?
Yes.
They do.
Yeah, it's been advertised in an international newsletter,
Yeah.
and it's gone through the club newsletter. I've sold several copies to
Good.
fellow club
Do you-
members.
But are you back doing it in person, the dancing, the square dancing?
Hmm?
You're doing it in person now?
Hmm.
Okay, you're back doing it. Square dancing.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever bring a bag full of these with you?
yes. I've sold
There you go.
several.
There you go.
I've sold 4 last night at class.
I don't know if I could get into square dancing. I may have tried it. I do lousy at ballroom dancing classes. I mean, the man that was trying to teach us said to me, "Let me lead." I'm just too used to, maybe it was my generation, to be bopping around and you could do your own thing. I don't know, I just don't, I had the natural inkling to lead. And he said, just
Well,
let
I'm
me.
a lousy ballroom dancer too, but square dancing is a whole different thing.
But is it hard to learn?
I don't think so.
It took
Some
me-
people, I don't know. Some people really struggle with it,
Yeah.
and others, I had no problem with it. I had more problem learning ballroom steps than I did with.
Did you ever try the
square dancing.
Macarena?
That's what?
Did you ever try learning the Macarena? To dance the Macarena?
Oh yeah.
Oh! It took me a year to get. You're going over here. If I go off by myself and do my thing, I'm happy. But no, it took me a year of people painstakingly walking me through it. Yeah, it's good to meet someone else who isn't too good. Line dancing, even the Tai Chi. I think I was in an intermediate class, and I belonged as a beginner. And they were going and doing their thing, and I'm like, looking like, how am I going to do this? I don't know what it is. Some of us just aren't good at line stuff. Unless we learn, like I did, it took me, 6 months to learn the computer. I would go to library, and they would show me, and eventually it hit. I mean, I'm not a techie, but at least I wanted to be able to email, look things up. So now,
In the newspaper business, in the progress of
Yeah.
the newspaper business, I learned seven different computer programs in the, as things progressed from stage to stage to
Right.
stage. So,
Do you
plus, I changed newspapers twice. So.
yeah, but you worked on it in Minnesota. You worked on that newspaper. How many years were you there?
St. Paul, and then I came to Framingham, and when the Dukakis bubble burst, I lost that job, and I went out to the town of Ware and was editor out there.
Where? That's not far from. You haven't met him, but you know our theme song. Theme song in the beginning of the show. You see the river. Okay, that is. He is our resident musician, Gary Blanchard, and he has a show, I believe, out in Ware now. They live in West Brookfield, so that's not far.
West Brookfield was one of the towns that we...
Would you drive that far now if he could have you on his show?
Did I what?
Would you be able to drive that far? Would you be able to drive comfortable to Ware now to be on his show?
Oh, sure.
I'll have to clue him in about you.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
There might still be some people alive who remember me out there.
Well, that's not far from Palmer and Wilbraham, Long Meadow.
Yeah.
Did you live in Ware when you were
No,
there?
I commuted from Hopedale.
You commuted? Okay, how long did it take you?
55, well, it was an hour and a quarter drive, yeah.
Each way?
Each way.
That sounds like Northampton, too. That's in that area, isn't it?
That's way beyond that yet. Northampton's farther, much farther.
Yeah, I know, because we went to the Scottish Festival. They have it every year. All right, we've got to wrap it up. Oh, we just got him, and he's got to go. So, a Yellow Rock, a Mitch and Al mystery centered on the square dancing people and the whodunit.
Yellow Rock is a real square dance call.
Yeah.
You hug the person in front of you.
What if you don't like that person? What if you go, ew? You do it anyway. You do it anyway.
You do it anyway.
You don't have any garlic before
I
you
don't
do that.
know that I've ever square danced with somebody I didn't like.
Well, you're hugging each other. I hope it's the girls and the guys.
Yes, 99%. Most callers won't call it with guys facing guys.
How long do those last, those square dancing classes?
The classes, they run from, well, we started in the last week of September, and they're running on into June.
No, but time-wise, when you go.
Oh, time-wise?
Yeah.
From 7:30 to 9:30.
Do you get any food afterwards, or?
Well, we used to, but with all the COVID restrictions, the hall we're using now won't allow you to bring in any food of any kind.
That's such a bummer.
You even have to bring your own water.
Well, okay, I got it. Yeah. Do you have to wear masks?
Yeah, and show your vax card.
I couldn't wear. Could you breathe and dance in a mask?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not that hard to work.
Glenn, before we close, one more time, how can they get a hold of Yellow Rock?
You can get a hold of it through Amazon.com or GlenIckler.net.
Ickler, I-C-K-L-E-R, Glenn with two N's.
Two N's, yes.
Two N's.
First N is silent.
Now, you've got this one to read. There'll be a copy downstairs in the Upton Library. Come and pick it up. And then don't forget, he's got another one coming up. It's about Hopedale. And it's going to be a whodunit based on the true story of someone who was there. I can't wait. You better let me know. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You'll be back. See you next time on Being My Guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.